My name is Ed Kraut, and I'm the owner and business manager here at Phat Planet Studios in Orlando. Well, Phat Planet was opened in 1996 here in Orlando with myself and my former partner, Brian Carrion, who had sadly passed away back in 2000. And he and I were the vision behind the studio. At the outset, we wanted to create what we call an audiophile studio, which is a studio that focuses on extremely high quality. I mean, we have our core team here that has been here for several years, and everybody has just a tremendous contributor. We're very select about who we let in, about who we bring in as interns, as initial engineers, and so forth. So, because they got to meet that high grade audiophile criteria that we're after.
My name is Pete. I'm actually from New York, transplant down to Florida. Here at Phat Planet, I am a lead engineer. So I engineer sessions. We have artists come in and I take them through the whole recording process. I also assist some other engineers here when we have either outside engineers or we have a bigger session. I'll go over and I'll assist one of our other engineers here in making sure that everything's running smoothly for them. In my opinion, it is impossible to be a good recording engineer without having a musical background. You have to know how to communicate with an artist, and if an artist is talking to you in musical terms and you've got a blank look on your face, that spells disaster for your entire session. So with my background in music, I've really been able to take that, and it allows me to communicate with artists that come in. If they have questions or if they're looking for input on a project, that I have that musical background to be able to give that to them.
My name is Aaron Gandia. I'm the chief engineer at Phat Planet Studios. I've been working at Phat Planet Studios for almost 8 years, and I basically started like everybody else. I started as an intern, worked my way up as an assistant engineer, lead engineer, and I guess in a way it became pretty important and indispensable for the studio, and it eventually made me the chief engineer of the studio, a lot due to technical knowledge, my thirst for gear and learning every intricate part of the studio, and to be able to, in a way, master it and have that come through in everything that I do. A lot of the gear that we have here is tailored in a way to get as much information out of an instrument. There's the approach of you trying to be as transparent and as precise as possible, but that can be also kind of dull and lifeless. We have here over 10 different type of microphone preamps, going from vintage tube to modern Neve, vintage Neve to other customized type of preamps, where each one has its own color signature, each one does its own representation of the harmonic contents of an instrument. One of the things that we've ended up customizing in the studio just to fit more of our personality and our needs for high quality audio is our main monitors. One of the most important elements in a studio is to have the type of speakers that can reproduce accurately and musically whatever source you're putting through. You want to be able to rely on the speakers to know if you're overdriving the gear, if there's distortion happening, if there's not enough of one frequency or the other, to make sure that those elements translate to every other type of speaker that consumers will be using.
We like to use a term to describe the music that we specialize here in Phat Planet, and that's organic music. And to us, that means music that's created by musicians together, listening to each other and playing off each other and creating something all at the same time. We like the vibe of musicians together in a room, and we try to capture that vibe because it's difficult. That's something that's very difficult to capture at home.
You have something magical, and we haven't forgotten how to do that. That's something we've been doing for years, and we're used to working with with musicians in the studio and knowing what their vibe is and what their needs are and how to get a good sound out of them. One of the things that we're known for is being able to record bands all at the same time. Everybody playing together as a unit and grooving together and getting a cohesive sound.
Ed and I have known each other since 1994. So before there was even a Phat Planet, there was even any kind of studio notion, we were musicians that got together and were in a band together and had common interests of recording. I do production work, I do a lot of engineering work, and I do a lot of mixing work. And most of it is all, whatever I do tracking or recording is right out of this studio. Phat Planet is unique and one of the last of its kind left in the Central Florida area because of our approach to recording. And we still think of analog as one of the best media of being able to reproduce sound for us, even though we are coming close to our digital counterpoints, but you will have all of your choices here that you could do. If you want to stay completely analog, you can do analog. If you want to stay digital, or you want to do a hybrid of them, you can do both. So yes, it is a one-stop shopping, I believe, for any engineer or producer that wants to come in and do any kind of work that they want to do.
To me, Phat Planet means quality. We don't cut corners here. We take the time, we spend the energy, whether it's in a session or on our own time. We're in here all the time working on things. We don't just come in and do a session and go home. We're here from 10 a.m. sometimes till 2, 3, 4, 5 in the morning, either working on projects or working on improving the studio and our own skills as engineers.
One of the things that I love about working at this studio is the attention to detail that the staff takes. And that's really comes through on the way we're constantly improving the studio.
Been a great relationship ever since. It's been us working here and trying to get our goals of making the best music that we can and with the best quality that we can.
I'm passionate about music, passionate about good quality music, and artists that are also passionate about their music. And I'm into helping other artists achieve the greatest heights that they can get to, and I love playing.
I took a little trip down to New Orleans for some Daddy G jambalaya. Had a cup of Joe, went to Tippy Toes. I watched some local band catch fire. Met a local girl and her name was Pearl. And we danced a song or two. I said, hey Pearl, I'm getting kinda hungry. Hope you're getting kinda hungry too. Pearl said she knew a place where the food was great. A nice little spot, we'd get a good meal. Took my hand, said goodbye to the band. Picked up the tab, made me feel like a heel. She gave me a wink when she paid for the drinks. That was all a scratch. I told her no big deal, I was good